Hi, it's Kathy, the cat part of Rich Cat Ranch, and today I want to talk with you about nutrition for waterfowl. I'm going to be on a soapbox for part of this video, I'm sure, because there are a lot of charlatans out there who will readily take your money and your attention and give you some really potentially dangerous advice regarding how to care for and feed your ducks and geese. Unfortunately, too many people have learned the hard way, and I'm among them. Before I learned all that I know now about the nutritional requirements of ducks, we had losses. We have ducks even now. Ginger, you'll remember her from some previous videos, and she'll be featured in this video as well. And one of the issues I know has impacted her most is lack of proper nutrition as she was developing after hatch. So I don't beat myself up over that anymore. I openly admit I was ignorant about what the proper protocols were for feeding ducks and geese, and the research I did was not thorough enough, and so I followed the advice of some of the people out there who obviously knew even less than I did, and I've learned a lot of lessons that way. So one of my goals is going to be to spare those of you who have ducks and geese or are interested in raising ducks and geese from some of the stress and heartache that we've been through here, because we didn't have the knowledge we needed. So today's video is going to focus on proper nutrition. It's just going to be one in a series of videos I hope to produce to give you information on how to care for ducks. If there's a specific topic you're interested in, please comment, let me know, and I will address that in one of those future videos. Among the other topics I want to share with you is first aid, treating injuries. That's kind of another critical element that we were not knowledgeable enough about in the beginning, but I've come a long way, and I can just tell you from firsthand experience now that when you do it the right way, you save yourself a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of disappointment, and you add years and years to the time that you'll be able to spend enjoying your ducks, getting eggs from your ducks. We raise ducks here as pets and for eggs. There's a different way to care for ducks and geese, a different way to feed them. If you are raising for meat, we don't have anything against raising birds for meat. We eat meat, and I'm not critical of people that raise their birds for meat, but our ducks are meant to be long-time pets, just like all of the other animals in our family. And the way we can feel confident in knowing that we're giving them the best shot at having long lives is to feed them properly. Believe it or not, ducks can live to be 20, 30 years old. And I didn't know that. Now, meat birds, obviously, their lives are not meant to be long. They're meant to be fattened up and prepared for slaughter as quickly as possible, because when you raise meat birds, it's typically because you're earning a living off of raising meat birds, or you're keeping your family fed. So my focus will always be on what's best for ducks that are kept as pets, and that duck guardians, for the duck guardians that want to have them around for a long time. So I'm going to have a lot of slides for you because I'll be covering a lot of information, and I want you to be able to take notes so that you can use what I share. So let's get started. I think it's fair to say that the first thing you need to take into account when you are preparing to feed a flock of ducks or geese is you need to be aware of the protein requirements they have at the various stages in their lives, and you need to be really, really aware of the fact that ducks and geese need niacin among all of the nutrients that are important for their development and health, niacin is at the top of the list. And again, there are a lot of people out there that are completely misguided and don't understand the way ducks metabolize nutrients. Rule number one, never give people supplements to your ducks. Their bodies do not metabolize niacin, vitamins, things like that the same way that we do. And so it really does nobody any good if you go out and buy a bottle of niacin at the grocery store or the drugstore and crush it up or sprinkle it on their food however you want to give it to them. It's not going to do them any good. And in fact, those kinds of medicines can actually do them a lot of harm. Never, because you'll read this in some places, never give them things like Nutri-Drench that are made for chickens. Never give them Polyvisol, even though they have pretty high levels of niacin. When you look at the ingredients list, you'll absolutely kill your ducks over time by doing that. Ducks are not the same as chickens. There are a lot of things that you can do for chickens, a lot of things that vets can do for chickens that will just take years off of your duck's life if it doesn't kill them outright as soon as you do it. So, protein and niacin, that's what we're going to talk about first. All right, your first consideration is your protein level. For newly hatched waterfowl, your target protein should be between 18 and 20%. I feed a chick starter, 18% protein chick starter. Never feed them a medicated kind. That's not safe for waterfowl. And you're going to want to cut then that protein to a 14 to 15% level by mixing in rolled oats or corn. I'll have a link for a feed calculator at the end to help you figure out how much of each to use. After the protein has been figured out, you need to provide niacin. Ducks need about 55 milligrams of niacin every day their whole lives, and natural raised ones will find that by foraging and eating bugs and fish and things that you'll find in the pasture and around the pond. Muscovy need a little bit higher amounts, and geese need a little bit higher amounts. So from hatch to 4 weeks of age, small breed geese need 65 milligrams of niacin a day, and larger breed geese and Muscovies need about 80 milligrams per day. We're going to put this somewhere where you won't get it. I got to feed horses after I feed the ducks, so I brought out some horse treats too. They know what's in the bucket. Hang on, baby. So if this is your first time watching a video, I do feed the wild ducks next door morning and evening when I feed our ducks. It's mostly just boys right now. Seems like the girls have been gone a long time, but I sure did think initially it was just because they were raising babies somewhere. So this is what the ducks and geese get for the afternoon evening meal. Supper time is usually between 4 and 4:30, 4:45. And we've got, I use a combination of a 16% layer feed with, I've got the 18% chick starter mixed in now just because I still have some to use. And I cut that with cracked corn, but they also get kale, grapes, mixed vegetables, carrots, peas, corn, and green beans. And then I always have bags of peas, so they get just some peas as well. And I don't have to tell them twice to come running when it's time for supper. So even if they're out on the back pasture, they come running. Here's Ginger. That's Ginger over there. She's the duck I referenced earlier when I shared with you that there was a time when I did not know the proper way to feed my ducks, and I read the wrong information online, and she did not get enough niacin early on. So this is her little therapy chair. So she spends a little time in that therapy chair every day, and I'm hoping we can strengthen her legs and maybe overcome some of the problems related to delayed development that her nutrition caused in the beginning. Interestingly enough, a lot of these other ducks hatched at the same time. They've all been fed the same thing, but just like, you know, some people are more sensitive to certain things or susceptible to certain problems, same holds true for ducks. So let me finish getting them fed and we'll get back to the video. Right quick, I just have to show you these babies. Look how big these babies are now, and they already know the routine as well. So they come running too for food. And when we talk about the treats in a while, there are some different rules again for brooder raised babies versus babies that are being raised by their parents. In this case, these ducklings are being raised by goose parents. There's Mama right there, and there's Daddy right there. They're doing a great job. Babies are growing by leaps and bounds, and there aren't quite as many concerns or restrictions about what I feed them because they're being raised by cousins instead of by me. Well, we're out of apples today. I didn't realize we'd use the last of the apples, so in the evenings, Cabo and Delilah get typically apples with carrots, blueberries, and strawberries. Cabo won't eat strawberries. I don't know why he doesn't like them, but he doesn't eat them. But Delilah loves them. So we're going to get the equines fed. Feed. I know. Oh my gosh, right? You never get fed. I know. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's just so skinny, huh? Not. All right. We don't need sister to get too many because she's little. She's just a little girl. Oh my goodness gracious. I know, he just acts like he never gets fed. As you can see by looking, he gets fed plenty. He gets fed plenty. Can I scratch your bobo? Oh, yes, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. He loves to get his bobo scratched. Good boy. Here we go. Here we go. Here it comes. Come here, baby. There you go. And this is our precious girl, Delilah. She's my precious girl. Oh, I love her so. I love her so. Okay, there's your supper. There's your supper, honey. All right, back to the video at hand. Okay, so now I'm going to share with you the supplements I use for bringing niacin levels up to where they need to be for the ducks and geese. I'll have a picture of the actual products that I use, and then just a brief breakdown of how it's used and when it's used. Right, so this is the Prairie Pride Vitamins and Electrolytes. We use the 8-ounce package. You can get it at Tractor Supply. I think you can even order it on Amazon. So this 8-ounce package has been mixed into a gallon of water. And then from this gallon of water, I'm just putting some in this so that it's easier to scoop. From that concentrated gallon of water, now I have a separate fresh gallon of water. And I'm going to put 3 teaspoons of that concentrate into my fresh gallon of water. And if you look at it, it's not going to look very yellow. It doesn't change the color of the water, really. Can you get over the top of that and show the color? Just an ever so slight change in the color of the water, because this package is actually meant to be mixed into like a 500-gallon tank of water. So the math has already been done for you. You mix it into the concentrated gallon and then take 3 teaspoons from that to mix into the gallon of what will be their drinking water. And then this drinking water that you give them each day is what has to be changed out every 24 hours because the contents break down, just heat, and they introduce feed and dirt and stuff into the water, and it no longer serves any benefit for them. So you have to throw it out and put a fresh gallon out for them every 24 hours, even if there's a whole lot of it left. But this will last you. I just keep this in the pantry, so if it's in a nice, cool, dark place, you can use this same gallon for like 4 or 5 weeks. After that, if you haven't used it all, you need to throw it out and mix another package to make another concentrated gallon to get your 3 teaspoons at a time for their daily drinking water. Okay, let's talk about treats. These are to be fed in moderation as just part of their daily diet, but it's a fun way to give them some variety. Most herbs are safe. You do want to stay away from spicy herbs or herbs that have strong aromas. And then anything on the list here is safe. Please note where there are pieces of information about avoiding certain parts of the plant or the fruit. But otherwise, these are just fun ways to add some variety to their diets. Ducks enjoy different textures and different flavors, and there are some nutrients that they'll get from eating additional things besides their feed and grains. The meats are also a good source of niacin. Ours get the chopped liver a couple times a week, and it's just a fun way to enhance their lives and let them have fun with food. Okay, so now you have a good base of knowledge for how to feed your backyard flock. And I just want to go over something I touched on when I was out feeding the ducks today. For ducklings, you want to avoid any treats. So anything on that treat list you need to hold off until they're about 8 weeks old. Before that time, and this is for brooder raised babies. So this is babies that you are raising. You bought them from a hatchery or whatever. There's not a mama duck or a mama goose, like in our case, to raise them. You want to avoid anything besides their chick starter in the beginning and then their mixed feeds, the chick starter and cracked corn, to get the lower percentage of protein when they're, between 2 and 3 weeks old. And that's just because developmentally they don't have a gizzard developed yet to process peas and mealworms and the things that you would feed older ducks. And they need to have some time, growing their bodies and working their bodies and developing muscles and developing that gizzard before it's safe for them to have those treats. Now, they're going to run around the yard and try to catch bugs and eat flies and things, and you're not supposed to try to stop them from doing that, but don't feed them treats and things until they're about 8 weeks old. After the 8 weeks, they can have anything on that list, anything on the lists in the video. Again, for the natural raised babies, I tried to keep an eye on things that first couple of weeks and steer them toward just their little chick starter. But as you could see in the video tonight, when I throw out the food now for all the ducks, they all come a running. And they're all, they're coming up on 4 weeks old now. So they're 3.5, 4 weeks old now. And they're being raised by their mamas, so they've already been out eating whatever it is they can find in the yard, and we've got, plenty of property here and plenty of options for them to find treats to eat on their own. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that there are some considerations to make for ducklings regarding treats, but those considerations will vary based on whether they're being raised by a human or raised by another water bird. I hope you enjoyed the video today. I enjoyed sharing it with you. I by no means consider myself an expert, but I have certainly learned some lessons the hard way, and I'm happy to answer questions if you have questions. If there's something I'm not familiar with, I don't mind doing the research for you and getting back with you on it. I have a link in the description for the Raising Backyard Ducks Facebook group. I'm a member of that group, and I have been for a couple of years now, and I credit it for everything I've learned that has completely turned things around for some of my ducks. Again, I've lost some ducks over the years, and I know part of it was just because I didn't know how to provide for them properly. And we're working with Ginger. I'll have some videos. We did make her that therapy chair, and I do have a video I'm going to share about how we did that. I'm not forcing her to go into it, but I do let her sit in it for a little while each day just so she can learn that it's safe and figure out how to get comfortable in it. I'm still trying to figure out the best sling to put in it so that her legs are in the right position. Obviously, her feet need to touch the ground, but for now, she's still not really good at using her legs, and so she just rests when she's in it. But that's okay. We're just taking it slowly. Thanks for spending time with me here at Rich Cat Ranch today. I hope it was a great day for you and that you learned some things that you can use. Again, if you have questions or there's a topic you'd like me to cover in a future video, feel free to leave a comment to let me know, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.